You heard the news
Nice.
of UCB
Oh no,
today.
yeah.
You
May she R.I.P.
RIP. You are a proud alumnus of the
I am an
system there.
alumnus. Yes.
You cut your teeth in that little black box under Gristedes. I just want to hear some of your memories from those good old days in the early to mid aughts.
I don't remember much.
Who are your teachers?
I had a lot of teachers because I wasn't very good for a long time. So from Danielle Schneider to Owen Burke to Matt Walsh, Ian Roberts,
Wow.
Mantzoukas, Seth Morris, Paul Scheer, Jackie Clark. Um, I ran through a lot of them, and I also was a rat. I was like a bit of a gym rat. I had a rep for getting my nose into a lot of classes, and I interned at the theater. I bartended some nights. I did the lights for the Swarm for a year. I was like, wanted to be involved, and I wasn't good enough to be on stage, and that's okay. It took me a long time to get good enough, and I was lucky enough to have a bit of like a privileged background. So I had the support of my parents, and I wasn't I was able to live that life, luckily.
Yeah, the unpaid life. I mean,
The unpaid life, right? Exactly.
the paying life. I mean, you're putting a lot of money into it.
I was putting a lot of money into it, yeah. But my career also took off from it. From being on stage, I was able to get into commercials, and that was real money. And that made it a real job. Some people, they're Macaulay Culkin, and they are a really good actor the day they're born, and they're a movie star. And some people have to go through life, and they're John Hamm, and they don't break till they're 50.
Right.
And the UCB is one thing to do with your time and money if that's the industry that you want to go in. And for me, I invested a lot of my time and a lot of my money, and it gave me it back.
Is it at the UCB where you met Ben Schwartz and Gil?
Yes, of course. I met Ben Schwartz at Andy Samberg and Bill Hader's SNL audition. That's the first time I met Ben. And those memories, like people like that are in your life, that a lot of my second teacher ever was Paul Scheer, and I was 21 and I sucked. I was terrible, but I was like funny, but I wasn't like good. I was just like funny, and he knew that, and he instantly was like, "Don't quit." He's like, "A lot of people quit. Don't quit." So I was like, "Oh, okay, this is great." And Paul Scheer, I looked up to him. He was on ASCAT every week, and then in my next class, he was on Best Week Ever, and I was like, "Oh, my teacher." And I remember being so excited because I was like, my teacher is on television. I could like show it to my friends and family and be like, this is how you do it. Like, my teacher's on television. You just got to keep, there's a clear path, Luckily, I think for both the way their business turned out and for my career, I kept having people to point to and say, well, if I just stick with this, and then I became one of those people.
Exactly. Now you're essentially colleagues.
I work with Paul, like if I have an idea, Paul's one of the first people I call still, and like Casey Wilson, I met her in UCB, and now we literally work on almost everything. We work together, it's like, that is Abby is another person. Abby, I believe I met Abby when she went on a date with Ben Schwartz.
Really?
So like and then Abby got Saturday Night Live right away, and I was able to go, look, like you can do this, So like I understand, I understand people's problems with it. I don't, I think as it grew, it became tough to wrangle. I certainly it became hard to reconcile sometimes for me, but I had a family very young, and so my time there became limited because I had a family. And when you have young kids and you're a young person, you start to go a little crazy and things fall away. One of the things, unfortunately, that I couldn't keep up with was my time at the theater.
But those hot sauce reunion shows, man, I mean,
Yeah, they're good. There is something poetic about UCB being gone. I mean, part of what I loved about the way that Amy would explain ASCAT, I remember like bartending. She said it every Sunday. She would be like, "It's funny now, but it won't be funny when you tell your friends." And so there is something poetic about it being gone, and you trying to tell your friends about it, but they can't. They don't get it.
Isolate Night with Scott Rogowski, live every Sunday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern.